everyone, and welcome back to another episode of War co-host Sarah.
Hello.
And I hope you guys had a rousingly good July so far. Hopefully, you didn't get burned in the heat depending where you live.
I personally was at an outdoor concert during the worst part of the heat wave, and I'm not going to say that I ended up sitting in a puddle of my own sweat, but it was pretty close.
Wow, I mean, that's terrible. Luckily, you didn't get the heat stroke, because a lot of people caught heat stroke during that. I was like, 2 weekends ago, it was pretty crazy.
No, I borrowed my friend's water backpack.
Wait, a backpack full of water?
So what you do is it's like hikers have this thing where it's basically like a backpack that has like 2 or 3 gallons in it or something, and you fill it up, and it has a little straw that goes from like the back of the backpack to your mouth, and yeah, you basically use it whenever it's like really hot out or you're going for a really long hike.
That's
Pro
cool.
tip.
Pro tip. During this heat wave, I did not go outside. I stayed in my apartment and nearly died. Myself and my lovely girlfriend Cassie, you may have heard me mention once or twice on the podcast. She was like, "Are we gonna die here, Matt?" I'm like, "I don't know, but if I want to go out, can we please get it? Can I get another season of Flash?" And then Netflix released the Flash season 5, so I'm happy.
There you go. All right, speaking of new seasons, there is a lot that came out during San Diego Comic-Con 2019. That was just this past weekend from when we're recording. There's so much to talk about. Like it's ridiculous. So I think our first segment is going to be talking about probably the biggest news drop from San Diego Comic-Con, which was all about the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 4 plans now that Phase 3 has wrapped up with Spider-Man Far From Home.
And it's funny how Marvel has this architect plan, been doing it for such a long time, but the Phase 4 is definitely going to be the movers and shakers for the MCU. Lately, they've been kind of treading water, making very few changes. I mean, post Endgame, if you haven't saw, can I spoil Endgame if you haven't seen it? You should saw Endgame at this point, right?
Listen, y'all, if y'all haven't seen Endgame at this point and you're listening to a comic book podcast, you're in the wrong zone. You need to get back in your lane. It's Endgame spoilers time.
Endgames. So basically, we know that Captain America gets old and he passes the torch of Captain America to the Falcon, which follows the current comics, all new Captain America. And in that timeline around 20 to 2011, which is great. That means that they're acknowledging modern comics and putting some of that storyline onto the screen. And one of the things from the modern comics that has happened, that's going to be on the screen, is Jane Foster as Thor.
Yes, Taika Waititi is back for Thor 4, aka Thor Love and Thunder, which is going to be dope as hell, son.
I'm so lit for this.
Yes.
The only thing I got me a little disappointed by, because this is a little thing. In the comics, before we got Jane Foster, Thor, female Thor, there was a huge arc that Thor happened that made him unworthy, where he fought this guy, this space thing that was running around killing gods. And somehow after Thor beating him, he felt unworthy of being a god. Not spoiling it for you, you can go read it yourself in Marvel. And then the hammer is in somewhere there. Jane Foster picks up the hammer and she's Thor. So I wonder will they put that in there to let people know this is why you can't be Thor Odinson. I hope that's in there. I hope.
Honestly, I actually have a really soft spot for Jane Foster Thor because when that comic line came out, I was actually working at the Huffington Post.
Ooh.
Not to brag or anything, but I asked to pick up that news because I knew comics, I was into it, and I had to explain to my editor at the time the difference between Thor Odinson and Thor, like God of Thunder, like the whole. Like, yes, Thor is Thor, but now Thor is not Thor. He's still Thor, technically, but now Jane Foster is Thor. And she was like, what are these words that are coming out of your mouth? And I'm like, okay, no, it makes perfect sense.
Have you tried explaining, Thor is the God of Thunder, which also had to be the name of the actual Thor. Yeah. The Thor, who is Thor Odin's son, does not actually have the power of thunder as a god.
Yeah, basically it's like there's Thor the title and then there's Thor the person, and Thor the person is no longer Thor the title, but a different person is Thor the title, and it didn't matter. Anyway, it was also one of the first articles I'd ever written that I got a lot of hate about and hate comments, which is how I knew personally that I had made it as a motherfucking journalist. I was just like, yes, good. Feed me your rage. That one, and right after that, I wrote about Constantine's bisexuality being kept out of the show Constantine, and everybody called me a poser, and I was just like, haha, come murder me, bitch. I don't give a shit. Fight me.
When it comes to Constantine, this is great. I've always liked the fact he was kind of this very depressing detective. I didn't even know that he was actually bisexual in nature until like modern comics. Even then, it didn't surprise me. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a whole thing, but yeah. And so when I saw there was some backlash, of course, because of course there was. When is there never backlash? When I saw some backlash being like, "Oh, Thor can't be a girl. That's the whole point." I'm
Oh
like,
God.
we're back to this. I love it.
My favorite part about it was like people didn't understand. Like, you know that the hammer actually has a saying: the one who is worthy to wield my power will become Thor himself, or something like that. Like the hammer said so. You pick up the hammer, you're Thor. That's it.
Yeah.
Game, set, match.
Wah wah, cry me a river, you fucking babies. Jesus Christ. Oh. Like, you have nothing better to do with your lives. Like, why don't you take this passion and actually help people? Yelling at Natalie Portman, who doesn't need your bullshit, right?
Yeah. And she's
Natalie Portman
goddamn
is not
Portman.
here for you.
The worst part about it makes me a little mad at the side tangent, mostly about when it came to female Thor, was like people were discrediting it and taking clips of the comics. Like, yo, did you read it? It's actually one of the best comics. It almost nominated for the Eisner. It was actually legit good because Jason Aaron is that good of a writer. Like, yo, this wasn't offensive. This had a great thing going on. It explained everything. Like, a little spoiler. Jane Foster in this one was dying of cancer, and using the hammer kept her alive only to a certain point. So the longer she's Thor, the more she's physically dying. So it made her like being. So are you going to be a hero, or are you going to die a human? And then there was also, bad stuff happening. Like Malekith was back doing the bad stuff. So it's like, this is kind of interesting. There is actually a course of action, a power struggle to be a hero, because there's something to do with Thor. It's like, I guess I'll just find her and punch in the face, blah blah. Gotta hope something happens. Yep. Thor mortal. But that was cool. Yes. Anyway, more stage 4 stuff. I think we're getting a Doctor Strange movie.
Yes, we are getting Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think is what it's called. There's a lot. And that one's going to be super duper trippy, which I'm very excited about because I really loved the sort of the visual aesthetic on the first Doctor Strange. And I believe Elizabeth Olsen is going to be a part of that, which makes sense because it's like, if you're a magic user who now knows of the existence of other wizards, like you're obviously, or whatever, she's psychic magic. They did not clearly establish what Wanda's powers are, if they're psychic and magic, or just psychic, like what is it? I need to know. Also, can somebody make the Vision Wanda alternate universe, what was it? Little more than a man, little worse than a man, little more than a beast.
Yeah, I think,
or whatever.
The thing about Scarlet Witch is that even in comics it's confusing because she's a mutant that has powers over reality, but has a bloodline in her ancestry because she's gypsy that links her to magic. So we're like, is she a mutant?
We don't say that word anymore, Matt. We don't say that word anymore.
Really? We don't?
No, it's Romany or Traveler.
Are you? Please don't tell me you're trolling me because it's historically it's a thing.
Well, all right. Here's the problem. In English, use of that word basically comes from like the connotation that Romany people are thieves and bad people and murderers.
Oh, I'm aware of that. Yes.
Yeah. So like they don't like it. Ergo, they've been asked to either be called Romany or Travelers or some other variant. But yes, I respect them.
Okay, I mean,
they got a lot of shit. I feel bad. Especially in Europe, they get a lot of traveler communities get a lot of shit. So we're learning and growing, man. We're learning and growing together.
We're learning and growing. All right. So these people,
yes,
post Roman Empire, who keep most of the traditions around.
Oh, sorry.
So that's interesting to say. I mean, we have definitely another Doctor Strange, and I know you like the Doctor Strange visual effects were the coolest simply because of like it was Inception level cool, I want to say. Like, it was very topsy-turvy. But, yeah, I wonder, will they introduce other Doctor Strange characters, like Clea, Doctor Strange's lover, ex-student who becomes Sorcerer Supreme, the Dark Realm, there's a bunch of other things. Because now we're aware of the multiverse of magic, there's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting also to see like what the multiverse is like, especially since we got that tease in Far From Home that ended up obviously being a non-reality, which was fascinating. Then we've also got the Black Widow movie that is coming out, which is great.
No,
We do know a little bit more about it. It is going to take place before she dies, obviously.
right.
And David Harbour of Stranger Things is going to be there. Now, Matt, tell me, did you see Stranger Things 3 yet?
No, believe it or not to be an anti-hipster, Stranger Things. I like the music, Stranger Things. I watch it. I watched the first season. It's not my cup of tea. I appreciate it for what it is, but it's not for me.
Oh wow, I didn't know I was doing a podcast with a heathen. All right then.
Wow! Wow!
Next episode is just gonna be me because I'm gonna have to kill Matt. Just kidding. No, it's okay. It's fine, Matt. You're still great. You're cool.
Cool.
You're cool. But the reason people are freaking out about that is because in the new movie with Black Widow, David Harbour is playing a character named Alexei, and in Stranger Things season 3, David Harbour's character has to protect a Russian who defects named Alexei. So it's like, connections. Okay, you have to watch it to get it. Okay, Matt, I get it.
Look,
too cool for school.
Because look, I love the soundtrack to Stranger Things. Just everything else just doesn't really click to me. It just look. You know how mad my girlfriend got at me because when I love the Orange and the New Black. It's a good show, but to me, it's like I don't go gaga over it. That's to me. It's like I like it, but I don't crap on it. And that's the thing you guys should learn as fans. Just because it's not for you doesn't mean to crap on it. It's okay.
I know.
It's not for you.
See. I will say that this is mostly a white dude problem. What do you mean it's not made for me? It's the worst thing ever. Shut the fuck up. Do I have to tell you all the things that are not made for me?
Yeah, Orange. By the way, that series is finished, right? It's not going to be another season. Orange. It's completely finito.
Orange. Yeah, the season that just came out for Orange is the New Black is the final season.
Okay. Well, good run. Definitely deserves a lot of Emmys.
Yeah, it's a good show. But circling back around, say it's Black Widow the movie. It is happening. It is probably going to be rated R. It's going to be the MCU's first R-rated movie. We are also getting a Fantastic Four and an X-Men movie under the MCU umbrella. So we're going to get mutants, guys.
Woo!
Woo! Oh, that's going to be real confusing.
No, it's going to be great because remember, Doctor Strange can explain how the multiverse affects, and maybe he can peek into it, gives people some insight. Yes, the Fantastic Four exists in this reason, and so does the X-Men, so it won't feel as confusing because Marvel does this great thing of, connecting the dots for you. Connect those dots.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting, so we'll be getting those. And now, of course, we've got the Disney Plus series that are coming out. We've got Loki, which has the worst title card I've seen in my life, but that's okay. That's okay. It's quite bad if you haven't seen it yet. Yeah, we'll link it. We'll link it in the article so you can see it with your own eyes, but it's pretty terrifying, guys. We've got WandaVision, which is going to be the Wanda and Vision show.
Ooh.
Or is it Wanda and Vision? And there's like an and in there. Never mind. Whatever. And then we are going to have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They're getting their own show. Don't know how that's going to play into the continuity. Per se, but we're gonna figure it out together, guys. And I think that's it for the MCU. So Matt, what are you most excited for?
I'm actually excited for the TV shows. I saw mostly Falcon and Winter Soldier because they had Bucky and they have a pretty good dynamic. I want to see what it does, and I'm more excited at just how this is going to work across the board. Phase 4 is going to be the most, I want to say, innovative.
Wait. We forgot one. I'm sorry. I've ruined our reputation.
Oh God,
we are also getting the Kate Bishop Hawkeye show.
Ooh, yes, I talked about that. I want to see how they're gonna reinvent her because she hasn't, as a comic, she hasn't had that much of a push here and there. She pops in and out. She had 1 and 2 miniseries. Definitely see how great they're trying to push all that together. But I'm really excited about Stage 4 across the board, simply because it's going to be the most innovative. They're definitely pushing it. Now they moved away from the classic stuff of the comics, the stuff that everyone semi-knows and well-known. Now they're doing the newer stories, the storylines that's been currently modern in Marvel right now if you pick up the comics. So yes. I'm definitely excited to see how they push those boundaries, how well they transit the screen. and how well these new actors and want to play these roles. It's just great because it all the years of being a comic book fan, like I'm finally acknowledged Marvel Senpai loves me.
Yep. And also, guess what? We forgot another one.
Another one?
And another one. No, and another one. Yeah, we forgot Shang-Chi.
Oh god, that's top tier. That's what I'm looking for. Shang-Chi, Masters. Yeah.
My bad. I'm
I wonder
actually trying to. We just why did we do this, guys? Why did we do this?
Because we're too hype. We're too hype.
It's too hype. There's too much. If anything, I think everybody knows now that there's just too many goddamn movies. Anyway, the Shang-Chi movie now officially has a title. It is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It is set for a February 2021 release, so we do have plenty of time. Will he make an appearance in other movies? I don't know. Maybe he will. That'll be cool. Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, which are also coming out as part of Phase 4, which we didn't talk about, but have already been announced, so, like, y'all don't have to worry about that. We didn't forget them. So, yeah. There's just a lot. There's a lot in Phase 4, man. I'm just... When I go, I think we got them all. No, we didn't. We never do.
No, it's so much, and I think that's also, too, they definitely, like, big swing. Definitely big swing in it. And I'm more excited about Shang-Chi because I want to put Fu Manchu in there. I want to use the 70s god-awful lines. I mean, they probably won't, but
no, they won't.
No. I mean, because, this is true. He said it in one of the 70s comics when he fought Fu Manchu. You cannot defeat me. My Kung Fu is more than you. You think Kung Fu is the only way to defeat me? Face my Kung Fu. They actually said that. And I'm reading this because I bought the Shang-Chi Masters of Kung Fu Epic Collection by Marvel. I was like, wow, did no one know how to write English in the 70s? This is great.
Well, I mean, they were going for the racist.
These
are how Asian people talk.
Yes. A little bit of that, but yeah, definitely. Good times. But, well, not good times. But anyway, it's...
the opposite of good times. Racist times.
It's good times when you're young and reading it. If you're an adult now reading it, you go like, wow, that was pretty messed up thing to do, guys.
You got that cringe. You're like,
yeah. But it's definitely going to be an exciting time. And another exciting time across the aisle is that DC will also have much more things happening in the TV section and comic section. TV, we have Young Justice Season 4 happening.
Woo!
Which I'm a little... Look,
oh no.
That show is great and all. I can't watch Season 3 because I don't have the DC Pass. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? I want to watch this.
I know.
And we're getting... Stupid. I know. And we're getting... a Harley Quinn animated series, though I feel like the Harley Quinn hype has finally died out. Though her aesthetic and her style people are doing currently is still in there, like the bright pink and the bright blue, that the pig's tail thing. Though that aesthetic is still around. People are still doing that, which I call the new girl punk.
Yeah, it is definitely very much that. And I mean, with Suicide Squad 2 coming out, I don't think that's going away anytime soon. I really do like, and Birds of Prey, of course. I really do like that look. But I'm just really surprised. Actually, I really shouldn't be surprised because I'm just like, yeah, I'm surprised that they're going with a female-led series because DC is really not about that. DC has always been very, like, man, or ensemble piece. But I was just like, you know what? Actually, though, Harley Quinn is, like, the most popular character of the DC pantheon of that specific sort of dark genre right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes sense to make a Harley Quinn show. It definitely... I've heard, and from watching the trailer, I would believe it, that it's going to be a much darker, more adult-themed show. Like, it's not here to pull punches, so to speak.
True story, though, not to, little segue back. It's like, during, I think, the mid-2000s, 2006, 2008-ish, when Amanda Conner and Jimmy Holiday was writing Harley Quinn, which was a good run. Everyone should check it out when you get a chance. Harley Quinn was, like, the top 3 seller of a comic book. It was just, it was Wonder Woman, Batman, and Harley Quinn, and it was like Superman and everyone else was taking a backseat, and it was like, yeah. And that's, though right now I do feel like the Harley Quinn hype is kind of a little died out less, only because, we had a good 5-6 years of the character and everything, so I think it's, but I'm excited for the show, but I'm always scratching my chin about, like, should we promote another superhero? Shouldn't we get, I'm still praying a Birds of Prey TV show or Birds of Prey animated series, please, or a movie.
I mean, they are gonna have the movie.
Oh, the movie's praise DC. I will betray Marvel now, burning all my Marvel books.
Oh my god, Matt, don't you pay attention? I swear, Matt, you gotta read what we write, buddy. On the ones that we covered, there has been a teaser. We've seen the faces, we've seen the villains.
Well, sorry guys, I've been away for a long time. I've been away for
Matt's brain has been on vacation for a while now.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, I'm excited about just DC what they're doing, though I'm very upset about they're having exclusivity for their own app, which doesn't kind of work for them. But what does work exclusivity app-wise is Picard, baby!
Woo!
Oh god, I can his Patrick Stewart's voice is the voice of angels. People need to understand this.
Oh, I love it.
Like the fact that that trailer was fantastic. Living the dream.
Living the dream.
The only
Jean-Luc.
The only thing I want to know is who else from the next generation could pop up on the show. Will Riker pop up? Will we get Data?
Yeah, didn't you see Data was in the trailer?
Oh, Data was in the trailer. That's right. Oh god, my brain's on fried. This heat's killing me.
It's Data, and then also seven of nine from Voyager.
Ooh,
I know.
So cool.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, but the sad part is like not to be a nerd. It's like I would probably pay or find a way to get the CB access to see just that because.
Oh yeah, I have it because I really wanted to watch Discovery, and I was just like, I'm not gonna wait.
Yeah, Discovery.
So good.
Love the thing though. I heard good reviews of it, so I that's on me to check out on my own time. Yeah. But back to DC. DC will also be having their young adult books that has been announced and like last year are not only coming into fruition.
Yes. If I actually just went to a bookstore, because of course I did. I went to a bookstore recently and I saw Raven out already. Teen Titans Raven. I know Mara is out. I know next year the Beast Boy one is coming out. I also know later the Mariko Tamaki Harley Quinn book is going to come out. These are like middle grade and YA books, so like they're definitely aimed at a younger audience, which is a smart move on DC's part because frankly, this is the new frontier, so to speak. And they're getting in on it. It's a smart business move, I've got to say.
Definitely. It's because of, if you guys know the comic industry right now, young adult graphic novels are exploding everywhere. They're one of the reasons why Barnes & Noble has always been good, but Barnes & Noble is really picking up a lot of sales from that and from the other side, the manga people, young adults. So DC's trying to tap into that market. They had some successes. They had the superhero heroine, the girls one, the one that's a cartoon show
yeah. The one with Batgirl, Wonder Girl,
Wonder Woman, Wonder Girl, yeah. So it has some success with that as a books and the TV show, and now they try and tread more water. Though my opinion of it is I think DC is kind of expanding themselves a lot all over the place, while everyone else is trying to be compact now because people are realizing that, sometimes you can't squeeze blood from a stone as much. I mean, if you look at it now, Marvel has downsized their book collection a lot. But DC's expanding because they'll have not to be off topic, they're going to have a black label for adult books coming out soon. And one of their stories will be a Harley Quinn story with Stefan Sychek as a great artist on it. So I'm like, man, DC, you're just doing everything. And I literally mean everything.
Yep, DC is just doing its best to get the people to read the things. Because Marvel's like, whatever. We can do the cool, weird, experimental stuff in the comics, and we'll do the hard-hitting, get butts and seats stuff for the MCU. And it's like, it's worked so far, hasn't it, Marvel?
Yeah, so far. I mean, it's like, and the thing though is not to crap on DC. Marvel, when they created this whole MCU project and the comics, they clearly had an architectural stage plan. This was like, whoever was the grand designer did this for like years in advance. He just wake up and said, let's just do movies. It's clearly obvious.
Yep. Speaking of expansion of stuff, so a little peek behind the podcasting curtain here, listeners. Matt and I usually talk about what we're going to talk about before we talk about it. But I totally forgot, having now looked through all of the shit that I had to write up during San Diego Comic-Con, that we are getting another adaptation of Watchmen for HBO.
Oh boy.
Yep, and there's a trailer, and I'll give you the lowdown, Matt. Basically, from what I can tell, because we did have a teaser before San Diego Comic-Con, which was really fucking confusing, and nobody could figure out what was happening. But from what I can tell, this is a show that is going to take place after the events of the original comic. So it is not technically an adaptation of Watchmen so much as it is a continuation of the universe. We see a radical group popping up after the release of Rorschach's diary or journal or whatever you want to call it. Dr. Manhattan comes back from Mars. There's a new generation of vigilantes that comes up. There's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that. What I'm going to call the Marvelization, where they in universe have a TV show about superheroes and villains, which is weird. And basically, long story short, Alan Moore is like, I'm fucking done with all this bullshit. I fucking hate this. Why are they doing this? Fuck off. I'm done. And he retired. He said he quit, but let's be real here. He old, so he retired, and he will be no longer producing any work after whatever issue of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is set to come out. And the HBO guys are like, well, we're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Can't stop us, Alan Moore.
No one's gonna stop us. This is the thing, though. I feel like this seems like, obviously, point as a continuation after Watchmen. It's gonna be how to maintain that level, because DC tried this a long time ago by writing a series called Before Watchmen and putting the top talent of the industry on those books, and those books didn't really sell that well, or some assets try to capture the spirit of the Watchmen. And I feel like Watchmen is a one-time deal, and not to be, pessimistic. It's like to capture that magic again and then put it on TV. That's a tall order. Yeah. Because Watchmen,
especially as a continuation. Exactly,
because Watchmen of itself is pretty much, I would say, a lot of modern comic book readers their first comic book, because it's a story that you cannot explain. It has strong thematics. Alan Moore is a genius. He's also crazy. He believes in snake god. He worships a snake god, people. But he's still
whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. So Alan Moore will now, I guess, after his league, I'm picturing him just going back to his wood and his cabin in England, and then realize, wait a sec, that's a curse out. My only chance to tell people to do the thing right, and they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
definitely
crazy.
Gonna be weird.
It's gonna be weird, but I'm very excited for it because it's definitely a forward push to it. But I'm like, man, what can they really do? And how can they maintain the political commentary, the social aspects of it, the idea of what's right and justice versus these people? It's a very hard total, but I'm still excited for it because it's Watchmen, and that movie was meh.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see what it ends up looking like. It does look pretty intense, and it is HBO, so if you wanted any network to do this kind of a thing, you'd want it to be HBO. It was all about the murder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's just hope they don't at least spend 20 minutes of blue schlong, I would.
Yeah, I mean, mistakes were made, dicks were shown.
Oh man, the only thing I find funny though was in Game of Thrones, side tangent, is that I had one of my friends, and he's definitely into Jason Momoa a lot because I'm not exposed to his lifestyle clearly, but he was like, I wish there were more scenes of him just being all there. I'm like, bro, you got 5 minutes. It could have been 10. I'm like, bro, please, I'm right here. Please, I don't want, because I feel bad watching Jason. I'm like, man, he's ripped, and all he does is work out in the woods and throw axes, and I'm here typing on a keyboard. I feel inadequate in that aspect. I don't care about his other body. Like, yo, what the hell, man? Look at him. He's a freaking athlete, and I'm here just eating a tuna salad, typing notes.
Aw, it's okay, Matt. Not everybody wants an Aquaman.
Tell that to true story. When I saw the Aquaman thing, I literally heard so many women swoon when he flipped his hair. He's like, woo! I'm like, I was bald. I'm bald in real life, guys. So it's like, I can't, even if I wanted to, I couldn't even pull it off. This is completely unfair. Jason Momoa, stop it.
I have nothing to say to that. I'm sorry, Jason Momoa is fine as hell. Anyway, moving on from Matt's insecurities about not having luscious hair. We are getting another adaptation, this time from Netflix, of Neil Gaiman's incredibly popular Sandman series, which, wow, that's ambitious.
It's gonna be great. You
have faith?
I am good faith to be great. It depends how much Neil Gaiman has influence on it, because this is much like Watchmen and some of the comics I say hard, like Miracle Men. That's another comic I feel is great, but it's hard to translate to the screen because of how weird it was in some aspects. I had this argument with some of my friends that some things in comics can't translate to the TV screen because each format has a different specialty. Sandman really fits in comics. Even Sandman Overture, the current, I would say that came out a couple of years ago, fits well in a comic book. Putting it on a silver screen, it's going to be very hard because if it's just weird, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to see how this all works out. I mean, there's no cast yet or anything. I don't remember if they've got a showrunner yet, but it is going to definitely be a feat. Especially, it's tough too. Like with Watchmen, the same problem sort of applies, is that it's so beloved and so many people read it and have such strong emotional connections to it that you kind of have to wonder, unless there's a lot of investment from the production team to make this show reflect the comic as best as possible, that we might end up with like a mediocre product, and I don't think anybody would be happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, unless, they decided to make, Sandman's human form, Jason Momoa, and I'm like, God damn it, Jason, why you gotta do this to me? Why? Don't be here. But seriously, but all seriousness, I feel like it's definitely the writing staff and direction will be definitely the most important aspect of it, and special effects, but I definitely
sure.
But I'm definitely gonna have high hopes for this because Netflix, similar to HBO, has done pretty well with their shows they've been given, what they create and whatever. So,
I'm interested to see who they're gonna cast as Death. I don't really give a shit about Sandman.
Ooh,
but Death is gonna have to be. Yeah.
I wonder if they'll get for Death. No, Tom Ellis is not. I mean, Tom Ellis is Lucifer, but him as Death, nah.
I don't even watch Lucifer.
There's
so many things to watch, man.
So many things. Oh, yeah. And speaking of so many things to watch, you should check out So Many Things to Read. Do you have any recommendations, Sarah, for this month for our lovely viewers?
Oh boy, so I actually have been hit in a rut. I actually borrowed a bunch of stuff from the library and I haven't read it yet, but I was like, shit, I think of something, right? So most people who grew up in the US, their parents grew up with Superman, Batman. My parents did not grow up in the US at all. They grew up in Spain, in the middle of a dictatorship, no less. So the things that they read were very different. And so I grew up on comics that were very different. Shit like Captain Thunder, which, by the way, is not a Thor ripoff. Has a magic boat, and it's great. And The Adventures of Tintin was big. But one thing I wanted to bring up, which I see a lot less, but is a really long-running series, and you can actually still read it now, is The Adventures of Asterix, or I guess in English would be The Adventures of Asterix, which is basically a series about Gauls who live in France during the Roman occupation, like way, like really, really old. It's one of these like Smurf things where it's like a French-Belgian collaboration. It's got like a cast of hundreds. It takes place mostly in a little village. Asterix is our main character. He's got a best friend named Obelix. And they have like a wizard in the village, and basically like it's just one of these series that goes on and on and on. And it's a lot of fun because they get into like really weird adventures. I remember in one comic that I really loved, they go to Egypt and meet Cleopatra. The original run was written by Renee Goscinny and illustrated by Albert. Oh god, this name is always hard. Udzeros. Oh god, his ghost is gonna come get me because I'm pretty sure he's dead. But basically, it's been running since the 50s. It's really interesting. So if you're one of those people who really likes world building, who really likes like sort of episodic novelizations or episodic sort of runs of things, and are really get invested into long series, Asterix is great. You can probably find it just about anywhere. It has been translated into English, though everything I read about it was in Spanish. So if you are a bilingual listener, it exists in Spanish, in French, I believe also, German and Italian and all of those good languages. And yeah, I just think that sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of a retro throwback, and I was thinking about it the other day, and that would be my recommendation if you can find it in a comic book store near you.
Oh, yes. I think I remember Fantanic Books were printing Asterix. I know Asterix very well. Guys may not know, I am a French descent. My parents are from Haiti. So my father had some time in Canada, and I went in He came to Canada and came back to America, living his dream. He brought some books as CD. He also had some VHS tapes of specific show, Lucky Luke, the Lucky Luke. I love that show. I love it to death. He even bought, believe it or not, a couple of years ago, he purchased the DVD set, and I borrowed it from him, and I learned to rip it to turn to and I watch it from time to time. So yeah, a lot of foreign cartoons and comics is this very nice, episodic, lovely feeling when watching them. It's just great. You can watch it, like I could watch Lucky Luke until I don't pass out. It's fantastic.
Yeah. No, it's absolute, and like aesthetics has always been there. Like they make a million movies. I think they're remaking a lot of the classic ones that I grew up with. I was like, oh shit. Also, fun fact, Albert Yu actually did the illustrations of the comic books for the entire run until his death in 2009. So from 1959 to 2009, he was illustrating these comics. That's hardcore.
All right.
Hardcore as fuck.
Hardcore, yeah. And speaking of hardcore, is one of the books I'm recommending to people is Wolverine: The Long Night. It's written by Benjamin Percy, who formerly from DC is now at Marvel, so good for him. And his artist, Marcio Takahata, great artist. Now, the story of this is that he pitched it in a podcast. Marvel heard the podcast and say, do it! And he did it. So pretty much, we take Wolverine back to his roots as a detective in the North, trying to solve the murder or potential missing of his friends and what's happening up there in the cold white North. It's a one-shot, so you can read it anytime you want. Don't worry about continuity. I'd recommend it. It comes out July 30th. So you guys should pick it up, I guess, within a week or two, wherever you live. And that's my recommendation to you guys.
Damn. All right. I actually really like that podcast, so it's good to know that they made it into a series, or a limited series at least.
Yeah, it's just crazy that Benjamin Percy was like, he pitched it in a podcast and Marvel listened to him. Wait a second, if he pitched this live, let's put this on the paper.
Yeah, I think it's also just because for a long time it was like Stitcher only. Like you had to have a Stitcher premium account, which is paid, which is like, okay, I pay for a lot of things in my life, but I'm not paying for this.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of nice to have both. You can listen to actually Long Night now. You can in fact listen to it for free. You can also listen to the follow-up, which I'm going to have to look up real quick. It is another Wolverine one that just came out. I want to say it's like Wolverine the Bayou or something. I'm so sorry. Oh, here we go. It's called Wolverine: The Lost Trail, and takes place in Louisiana. So maybe they'll make a second one based on this podcast.
Ooh, hopefully that'll be cool. Because Benjamin Percy is a really talented writer. One of his biggest runs is at DC. He helped write The Arrow, and that was a good run. Fantastic, you can check that out. He also written, I believe, the first couple of trades of the new Teen Titans. That was when Damian became leader. When I heard that he was gonna move to Marvel, I thought they were gonna give him something, but they took one of his ideas he already pitched and put it into, a book. So I think he's gonna have a great career writing these one shots for them, and hopefully an ongoing series in the future.
I concur. So I think between the two of us, we've got a lot of reading material. Hopefully that'll tide you guys over till we come back on the air.
Yep. All right, we'll see you guys next month, and always buy comics. Later, guys.
Later.